Well, finally here. I was trying to put together maybe a script or something to kind of keep me on track, but I felt like that wouldn't have been authentic. It wouldn't have been real. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna do this completely off the cuff and just go for it. This is gonna be a story of how my G35 saved my life. It was the year 2016. 2016. That's a big year for me. Some people may call it the year that I died, right? Let's even go back further. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2007. And that was big. Didn't really know what it was, you know. Matter of fact, I had a ruptured appendix at the same time that they found out that I had Crohn's disease. So I lived my life through that portion of my life. You know, I've had surgeries and they took out like a foot of intestine and the whole 9 yards. So that was a big surgery. Fast forward 2016, it's kind of when everything stopped, right? It's when I really hit, I think, the lowest point of my life, because it was rough, because they found I had some blockage and stuff in my intestine, and the whole, you know, all the things that you can attribute having Crohn's happened to me, right? And yeah, it was crazy. So crazy, in fact, that they tried to clean some of it up and they had no choice but to slip me into a coma, an induced coma for 2.5 months. So I was in a coma from March till, honestly, Lord knows when. That whole year, I was in the hospital from February till around December-ish. The whole year, no exaggerations. And it was crazy, because those are things you see on TV. You know, you see, you know, people going through it, you know, on TV and having to go through these little episodes, and it was rough. You know, it was rough. You know, when I finally came out of the coma, I was like, you know, the level of stuff that you think about in a coma, you know, those are one of the questions I always, you know, in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, that person went into a coma. You hear it on the news, that person went into a coma. You know, it's usually when they go into a coma, it's hard for them to either come out the coma or they don't come out the same, right? That's how they went in. So, you know, I came out the coma, but the worst part about it is I had issues with walking. I had issues with kind of talking a little bit. They had speech therapists there for me, because when you're in a coma for that long, at least for that long, but for that short, you know what I mean? When you're in a coma for that long, you know, a lot of things just stop working. You know, my feet developed this thing called atrophy. So imagine this is my foot, this is my leg. My foot couldn't do this. You know what I mean? So I had to take therapy for months and months, and electrotherapy, where they put these little electrodes in your legs and try to jumpstart your nerves and all that good stuff. And ultimately, they told me it's really gonna rely on me to walk. Tell you a story. And this is probably fast forwarding to when I actually started driving. I remember one time I was in recovery at home, and I was with my mom, because she was my caretaker. I couldn't really do anything for myself, right? I told her, like, Mom, I need to drive my car. I need to drive my car. Um, and she was like, Sean, okay, but you know you're not. I mean, I was still using a walker. Like, no, not even joking. I was still using a walker. Imagine me, young guy, walking like a damn duck because I couldn't move my, you know what I mean? These normal things that we take for granted, like when you get those taken away from you and it just puts you down to like this level of damn, I'm either gonna just sink into this dark place or I'm gonna try to come out of it. But yeah, she gave me the keys to the car. I was like, Ma, I have to drive my car. I have to drive my car. I drove it. Probably was the biggest blessing and the curse at the same time, because I'm in the car, I'm driving it, I'm propping up my feet on the, you know, like the side panel, like where the side console kind of thing is, like right by your leg where your knee would be. I prop my leg up on that so I can be able to push down on the gas and the brake, because I couldn't do this, so I had to use my whole leg to push down on the gas and the brake. I was driving and I was probably doing about maybe 30, 40, maybe 50, something like around there, maybe, you know, depending on where I was. And I got into a part where I was gonna crash. I was literally gonna crash. This is when I realized the brain is just a different monster, right? The brain is just a different breed. Because right when I was about to crash into this person who kept fucking, you know, holding brakes. So I'm driving normally, all of a sudden they hold brake. I'm like, holy shit. My instinct of trying to push my leg down wasn't working, right? So it wasn't pushing down because I couldn't lift my leg all the way up to push down on the gas, push down on the brake. And instinctively, that one moment, my foot finally did this and pushed down on the brake. Needless to say, I was scared. I was like, oh shit, I'm not telling my mama this shit. Like, I'm not doing that. But that's when I realized, like, yo, the brain is a powerful monster. It really is. And that's when I realized I can make it out of this. I can come out of this alive with, you know, with no issues of, you know, any further depression, because depression was a thing for me. Depression was a real thing for me in that time period. But let's go back in time a little bit. So I would, when I came out, you know, I didn't see too much. I didn't feel too much of anything, you know. It's not to say that I like forgot who my family was and who my mom was and all that. It wasn't to that degree. It's just the normal way that I talk was kind of like held. It was stricken a little bit. It was, you know, so my normal vocabulary wasn't as extensive when I came out the coma. And side note, the stuff that you think about when you're in a coma, it's the worst. It's almost like hell, especially if you've lived your life, you know, very negative, very, you know, very poorly thinking and just not living a good life throughout your time before you got into the coma. This one I realized the mind is where you go when you pass. Your mind is what keeps the positive going or the negative. That's your hell, right? That's when I realized that. I've come to that conclusion already, because the level of stuff that I kept repeating, that kept rewinding in my mind as I was in this coma, that I never knew I was really in, because the dreams were so vivid, the dreams were so real. Just the most horrific things you can think of, I was dreaming it, you know? Family members just right in front of me, just passing and dying horrifically, and just, oh, it was the worst. It was the worst. But I came out of it, you know? They had their speech therapists ready. They had their physical therapists ready. Everything was, but before all that, I didn't want to do anything. I was like, yo, this is the worst I've been in. I had a colostomy bag, basically a poop bag. I had that for about 6 or so months, thinking that I would have to wear that for the rest of my life. Imagine having to wear that for the rest of your life. God, yeah. That was rough, you know, and having to put on a new bag almost every single day. And then there was problems with my insurance. I couldn't get certain bags. I couldn't get certain supplies. The worst. But yeah, I came out. You know, my mom was there. My brothers, well, my brother, because Alex, for some reason, I don't know, I didn't see him as much. I don't know if he didn't want to see me like that, which is understandable, you know. I didn't see him as much. But I was, you know, I had my family there when I needed them to be there. But what's crazy, you know, I was, you know, when you're going through something like that, you're in a really, really bad place mentally. I didn't want to live, you know what I mean? I didn't want to deal with the aftermath of this disease, you know what I'm saying? Because Crohn's disease is a real thing. You think you're like, oh man, I'm the most unfortunate person. Then you realize like 1 out of 3 people have it. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. It's the most weirdest shit ever. You know, you don't even know the people that have it. It's just that I had it the worst, you know? But I came out of it, you know, and the first couple weeks were hard coming out of that. Until my mom devised this plan because she knew I loved my car. She knew that to me, the car meant freedom. It meant more to me than anything else. I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't have any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Any of that stuff that blocks you out from true happiness. Not saying that girlfriends are not true happiness. Believe me, I'm just saying, you know, I always think every man should have a vice. Every man should have like a guilty pleasure. Every man should have that. Something that kind of takes you away from the norm of dealing with regular life. And this is what it is. But it's so funny. My mom devised a plan. She devised a plan to, and I didn't know, to bring my car to the hospital. I was at the rehab hospital. I went to literally every hospital in Broward County. Every single hospital in Broward County. No exaggerations. But at the rehab hospital in Hollywood, Florida, she brought my brother. I think again, my memory since then has been kind of hazy, but I think both my brothers came. If not, maybe just Miguel, because I know I did see Miguel. And I'll flash, if I haven't already, I'll flash some video and pictures of how I looked and all that good stuff. She devised a plan to bring my car to me because she knew I was in that weird place, and it was her idea to bring my car to the hospital. That was crazy because I'm there we're outside, like they wheeled me outside just to they were saying to get me some fresh air. That's what they were saying, to get me some fresh air, get me out of the hospital. And I'm like, okay, well, all right, you know, y'all here, y'all don't want to stay in this hospital room? Like, I didn't want to go anywhere. And they pulled me out to the outside area where you can sit and shit. And then we're talking. I don't see Miguel. I don't know where Miguel is. I'm like, okay, well, maybe he went to go get, I don't know, something to drink. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, I turned around. They bring the car around to me, like around me, because my back was turned from when they was coming around. And they parked my car right there. This is before all of this, all the rims. It was stock tires, everything. But they parked my car, and that was the moment I was like, yo, I gotta get better. I gotta get better for Triana. Like, and I don't think I've ever mentioned to you guys my car name because it's something kind of personal to me. But her name is Triana. Don't ask me how I thought about it. I was literally on the road one day and she had broke down on me for some reason. I don't know if it was like some crazy misfire or something like that. And I just blurted out and said, come on, Triana, just please turn on. that bitch turned on. And I turned it on, it got me home. It never turned on again until I got it fixed, right? But that was the day that Triana's name was born. Because I just blurted it out. I was like, come on, Triana, don't let me down. And I turned the car on and boom, she turned on. And I was like, yeah, you know your name. So it's weird. But when my mom brought the car, when Miguel brought the car around, because my mom orchestrated this whole showing me my car thing, it basically made everything come full circle. I realized, like, I have to get back on that road. I have to be in this car. It does more for me than the average person. It's not just an A to B. It's just not something to take me to the mall or the movies or do some grocery shopping. This car to me spoke freedom. It spoke, a level of independence that only true car guys would know, you know? And I love my family. I love them to death. I love my immediate family. I don't know about my extended, but I love my immediate family. My mom, my brothers, I love them. But Triana just has like a whole different vibe to her, you know what I mean? Because when I looked at her, when Miguel pulled up in my car, when Mike pulled up in my car, I was like, I started crying. Like, I was like, that's when I realized I gotta get better. I gotta get better. I gotta get better. I'm laughing because it's like, if there's anything I remember, it's that moment. It's that feeling. It's that I have to get better. I have to get better. Yeah. I remember the next day almost when I had to do my rehab. Remember my next day, they telling me like, Mr. Gooding, my last name is Gooding, Sean Gooding. Mr. Gooding, you can't, we're gonna take it slow today. Like, we're having lifting weights and putting ankle weights on me and having me, the little senior citizen shit, that they get these little dumb bars. I told them straight up, give me the heaviest ones you got. Give me the heaviest ones you have. We go on a treadmill. They got me doing 1 mile an hour. Nah, I need you to pump that up. I need you to pump that up. I was doing 25, 30. I was running. At this time, I wasn't even as big. As you guys can see in the pictures that I'm showing you now, I was like this. Never in my growth. I think I only was that big when I was like 8. You know what I mean? I was that small. I was that small since I was like 8 years old. But every time after that, they would tell me I need to slow down. I need to slow down. You're gonna hurt yourself. I'm like, nah, you don't understand. You don't understand. I have to get out of here. I have to get out. Not just for my family, because I know they want the best for me too, but I just couldn't leave Triana like that. Just to, I couldn't. Yeah. That was some rough times. She did a lot for me, and I never understand why a lot of people just, again, I don't expect people to be like me. I don't expect you to go through a traumatic situation in your life and have a car as your crutch or some, obviously everybody's going to be different, right? But I can honestly say that if it wasn't for this car, I don't know if I would have chose living. You know what I mean? I don't know if I would have cared as much to live if it wasn't for her. Yeah, my family would be sad and they'd cry and it would hurt them, but they would get over it, right? Like, they would get over it at some point. But to me, this car meant freedom. It meant moving, right? Because I didn't know how to walk. I didn't know how to move. I didn't know how to. This car gave me the ability to move fast, to run. Yeah, it's not the fastest thing in the world, don't get me wrong. But it allowed me to move in a body that couldn't move. You know what I mean? It allowed me to yeah, It, oh boy, it allowed. I literally was trying not to do this, but it allowed me to move. It allowed me the independence and the freedom of just me, her, and the road. That's all. That's what it gave me. That's what it gave me. And it's an inanimate object. It doesn't talk. It doesn't feel. At least physically. But these cars do more talking than we give them credit for not doing. They talk to us more than we know. I mean, you check your check engine lights. It tells you when it's feeling bad. It tells you when it's not running well. You can hear it, you can feel it when you're driving. You know? I'm not trying to say that's you know, some may think it's crazy, but to me it's more realer than anything that I've had to endure. What was also funny, one of the first things that I saw when I woke up out the coma wasn't my mom, wasn't anything any person in particular. They used to have, I don't know if they still have it, I think I have a picture. The first thing I saw when I woke up was on the wheelchair next to my bed. The back of the wheelchair said drive. I shit you not. I'm gonna pop up a picture right here. In the back of the wheelchair, that shit said drive. And I'm like, what the hell does a wheelchair know about driving? Like, in my mind, I thought it was some made up shit that my mind was making me see. You know what I mean? I didn't realize that was some actual manufactured shit, right? But it said drive. And I'm like, okay. Okay, yeah. Bet. So the signs were there, like all the signs of how I felt, all the signs of what I was doing, all the signs of how I felt, what I needed to do to get the fuck out of there was right in front of me the minute I woke up. It just literally said drive. Which is so funny. I'll show you guys. I don't push them at all. I mean, I probably showed them in a couple videos, but my jet tag says Stay Driven Media. You see it, right? But at the same time, right in the back, it says drive. Words and the kanji. It says drive. This is a constant reminder to me of what I saw when I first woke up. Again, I don't push them. This is giving you context to the story. And by all means, this is not an ad to sell these. I don't care if you buy them. I can keep that bag of jet tags and stuff forever. I don't care if anybody buys them. But this is to give you guys context to why this says what it says. And I would never make any more of these. So if these ever sold out, that's it. I'm not gonna replenish them. I think I only have like maybe 100, something like that. But that's to give that some context, because that's a part of me. That's a part of the story. That's a part of who I am. That's the reason why Stay Driven Media is the name that it is. It's to stay driven, because when all else fails, you have to have something that moves you. When all else fails, when family members turn their back on you, friends turn their back on you, everything feels like it's at its worst. Find that thing to keep you driving, keep you driven, keep you held behind that. Even if it's a car that you're behind the wheel of, keep driving. That's it. Just keep moving. Always, always stay driven. That's my mantra for every single thing that I do. Stay driven. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, this is my gift to you, the people that come to my channel to see some install videos on a G35. You know, this is to you guys, that my loyal people that come and watch my videos every single day, that leaves comments. This is for you. And for any would-be new watcher, new subscriber, this is the person you're getting right in front of you every time doing stuff to his G35. This is my gift to you. It's a little more personal to me, but this is my gift to you. You know, the viewer, the watcher, the subscriber. So, yeah. So, I hope this lets you guys in on who I am, or who I was, or who I'm looking forward to hopefully becoming better in the future. Hope this lets you in on who I am, who really is this guy that just comes in front of the camera and, you know, just talks and does install videos. Like, you know, I would want that for my, you know, YouTuber that I watch. I want a little bit more, you know, informal, hey, who are you? Definitely not who I am, you know, coming out of the coma. I definitely want you guys now to see who I'm gonna become. That's the ticket right there. So anyway, hope you guys learned something about me. I can only tell you guys, you know, when you feel like you're at your lowest, trust me. I'm not gonna hit you with that, oh, there's somebody out there doing worse than you. That's bullshit. I hate when people tell me that, because that basically it basically shits on what I'm going through, right? I understand there's other people going through things, but that doesn't negate the fact that I'm going through something. So I want you guys to know, when you're going through something, find that one thing, not two, not three, one thing that you guys can hold on to. Whether it's alive, whether it's a car, whatever, that one thing that you can hold on to keep you here and not make that crazy decision to do something stupid. If you can find that one thing, keep it. Drive it. Play with it. If it's games, if it's whatever it is, use it. Kiss it. Whatever, if it's a person, I don't know, just find that one thing. Stay driven. One.